Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Ooh. Let us check right in. See what storyline Spirit would like to share with you. I hope you're doing well. Collective energy, please, Spirit. Collective energy. What storyline would you like to share with the collective? Spirit, please. What storyline would you like to share with the collective? Collective energy, please, Spirit. What storyline would you like to share with the collective, please? Storyline for the collective, please, Spirit. All right. Here we go. In the central energy. In the central energy, you've got Judgment. It's a new phase. There's a reckoning happening. Gonna be some trouble in the alley. In the challenge position. In the challenge position, you've got a Ten of Swords. Yeah, painful endings. A collapse. Boy, oh boy. In the subconscious. Here's the Star. A renewal. A rejuvenation. A rebirth. In the recent past, the Hermit in the upright. Shining a light on stuff. Stepping away from the chaos. Having an inner evaluation. Inner guidance. Intentions and expectations. The inner guidance regarding the judgments that you're making, Star. The Lovers. Strength of two together. A union. In the near future. Whoa, look at that. In the near future. Holy, you got the Wheel of Fortune. So there is an entering into destiny, and that's bringing somebody, this person, they're in a Nine of Swords. So they got the Ten of Swords and the Nine of Swords. Everything's collapsing. They're having a painful ending. They're having nightmares. They're having anxiety because judgment is being called, and you're in, this Star is in union. Together. The strength of two together. You've got the Fool. So there is this innocent new beginning. Innocent new beginning. In the environment. Well, this came out and it flipped out into the reverse. So you've got Five of Wands reversed. On my card there. So there's an end to this conflict for you. Somebody wants to avoid conflict. They don't want to fight with you. It's a painful ending. Whatever's got going on. It's a Ten of Swords and a Nine of Swords. They're in big trouble. So, hopes and fears regarding the end to this conflict. Hopes and fears. Hopes and fears. King of Wands. Somebody wants to end the conflict. They don't want to fight anymore. They want to overcome these challenges. That could be a King of Wands. He doesn't want it to get any worse than it already is. And the outcome here is the Empress. And the World. The World. It's a completion, an accomplishment, and a celebration of life, the Empress. And there's an inheritance and a generosity. So the Six of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. New career, there's prosperity and generosity with this abundance. So the Empress is the nurturing mother. She's got her abundance, her wealth, and she's here doing her motherly stuff as the Star, right? The rejuvenator, the healer, the one that nurtures and does that stuff, right? So Judgment is there in the central energy. A new phase. We've got, it's time for love. It's time for love. Huh. Judgment is being called. So there's a rebirth, a new phase. It's time for love. Somebody's challenged by a painful ending. Whoever's under judgment, they're challenged by a painful ending, by a collapse. By a collapse. They're challenged by somebody in a limelight position who survived, who was able to self-preserve. Star. Somebody's under judgment because it's time for love. And a limelight, somebody was able to preserve themselves. They're in a limelight position. Survive. They're thinking, so there's rejuvenation, and then we've got survive in the reverse. Somebody's under judgment. They're not going to survive. Because it's time for love and you've gotten yourself into your limelight position, you were able to self-preserve. A betrayal. You're the Star. And whoever this was or whoever this is, they're not going to survive. We've got the Hermit here. Introspection. Soul searching. There could be a soul connection. Soul searching, soul connection. Home. Home. And the home could be the temple that houses the soul. So there could be some interconnecting going on here with, or maybe you are inwardly soul connected to your person here. Somebody's under judgment and they're not going to survive. Because it's time for this star to have love. Conflict in the reverse. So you've got the Lovers here, the Strength of two together. No more fighting. No more fighting. There could be a soul connection here in the Temple. We've got a Wheel of Fortune. The cycle of destiny is turning. Somebody's in a trauma and a despair. They're in a 10 of Wands. They're challenged by the judgment that's being called by a limelight position. Somebody in a limelight position. Privilege. Self-care. Limelight, self-preservation. It's time for love. It's time for your new cycle. You're coming into privilege. These ones are in a nightmare over your new beginning. There's not going to be any more fighting. Whoever, there's a judgment being called. And a painful ending is being brought about by somebody in a limelight position. For those who are messing with this star, we've got perfection. So there's a new innocent beginning. A perfection. It's like you could be seen as perfect. There's an ending to this conflict. Whoever's under judgment, they're not going to survive. Whatever that judgment is, they're not going to survive. They're in a 10 of Swords. Teacher. Teacher. The teacher wants to end conflict. They have a hope of King of Wands overcoming challenges. This King of Wands wants to overcome this challenge. Service. They're hoping they can offer a service. They're a teacher, wants to end conflict. We've got the Empress on the outgoing energy. Excuse me. Witch. Promise. They promised a change, to be more conscientious here and now. Somebody important from an invisible place is bringing justice. Promise. They broke their promise last time. Judgment. It's time for love. This conflict is over. Whoever the judgment is that somebody's in a 10 of Swords and they're not going to survive. Everything's ending for them. The judgment is time for you to have love. You're in a soul tie here. You could be in a soul tie. Whoever's under judgment is they having a painful ending. They're challenged by somebody in the limelight who is able to preserve themselves. You're in a soul tie. You're the star here. They're not going to survive whatever it is. Dang. Unfinished business. You're in a soul tie. You're always connected to your lover here. Disagreements. Yeah, they're in disagreement. There's the Hermit here. It's shining a light on soul escape of the home. So somebody may be shining a light on the temple of people or the home. Somebody wants to escape. The two of the Lovers is here. There's no conflict. There's no fighting. There's self-love. There's love. So you both love yourselves. You're still trying to heal. Destiny cycle. The Wheel of Fortune is turning. You self-love, self-care. You're privileged. You're a person of privilege. So those who know how to love themselves, those who know how to care for themselves, they get to go up into a status of privilege. Somebody's in a nightmare. They're in a 10 of Swords, a 9 of Swords. They're not going to survive. They have to go learn how to love themselves and take care of themselves. These prideful people. Prideful people. So the judgment is they have to go learn how to love themselves and care for themselves. And that means, I don't know, that means you got to not fight. I don't know. So you got this new beginning here, an innocent new beginning. It's perfection, or you're seen as perfection. We got absence in the reverse. So somebody's not absent. You're not absent. There's always connected. Where was that? Always connected with the soul tie there. So there's an ending of this conflict with this teacher. Reminiscing about the inside jokes. A teacher who is having fun about how they hurt you. They're hoping that they can overcome this challenge and be a being of service and mend the connection. So the Empress is here. There's a witch. You have an understanding of that. And people are gossiping. You have an understanding over what this witch has been doing, and people are gossiping about this. You've got responsibilities. You're going into your destiny is a responsible family. A responsible family. You self-care, you self-love. You're going to go into a status of privilege here. The strength of two together. It's a deep love, a union. It's worthy of somebody who's serious about life. So that's what you get. And those who have habitual patterns, they made mistakes and they're very confused about your new chapter. You're going to have this passionate commitment. You have a commitment that you're very passionate about. And so that's that. Mental manipulators in this particular realm, these ego, they're in a 10 of Swords and a 9 of Swords, okay? And they're really having a lot of emotional problems right now. And if you're empathic, you know that you're going to pick it up on it because they're not going to survive. They know they're not going to survive. It's going to be a real challenge. It's a painful ending. So you may be picking up on the energy of that, and it doesn't feel good. And Spirit, like, they were really serious, man. Opened up my crown one day because I was spending like 3 days like raging into the atmosphere, right? And they said, you're degrading yourself. And the thing about that is that it's true, energetically, when you spend your time being angry and yelling expletives into the atmosphere, you're degrading yourself. So if you and oftentimes those situations are manipulated by those who are trying to offload their mentality onto you. They make you carry their burden of this mental chaos, of this emotional chaos. They have knowledge on how to do that, these witches. Alone. Alone, you feel like you are in this situation all by yourself, but it won't be like this forever. There's judgment here. It's time for love. You're in a soul tie. You're always connected, whether you feel like you are alone or not. You're connected. You won't always feel like you're alone. Those that are under judgment are having a painful ending. Everything's collapsing. They're challenged because you're in the limelight, or you're with somebody who's in the limelight. You were able to preserve yourself by self-love, by self-care. You self-preserved. And you're in this limelight position. You have, there's attention brought to this. There's unfinished business here. And it's a long road. So whoever this is under judgment, having a painful endings, everything's collapsing. They're entering a long road. It's unfinished business. They're going to take a trip. There's the star here, and they're not going to... whoever this is, they're in disagreement because they're not going to survive, or they don't think they're going to survive. Their needs aren't going to be met. They're in disagreement. Their needs won't be met. They're like going to have to experience what you experienced, and they're going to have to learn how to care for themselves and love themselves while they're not having their needs met. Maybe they'll experience some soul growth. We've got the Hermit here. Contemplation. Could be thinking about stuff. Could be thinking about the past. You know, you were able to escape a rocky situation. So there's introspection. You get to escape a rough road, or you have escaped a rough road. You're here with the Lovers. It's the strength of two together. There's no conflict. You're not fighting. You love yourself. You don't want to fight. It's like it's empty. The truth is that you don't feel fulfilled. It's worth the wait to find true happiness. It could be that you've been loving yourself. It could be that life has been empty for you, that you have not had fulfillment because you've been in this self-preservation, self-care, self-love, self-healing kind of a mode. And now it's the end of conflict. You're entering a status of privilege, a destiny. This prideful person is in a 9 of Swords energy. They're guilty. They're guilty of wild drama. So it could be that they're going to have some wild adventures in this new cycle. You have this innocent new beginning. There's perfection here and absence in the reverse. So you're not absent. Absence in the reverse. Somebody's not absent. They're here now. You see you as perfect. Somebody wants an exit plan. Somebody wants out. But they're not making a move yet. Be prepared for sudden changes. Be prepared for sudden changes. So there is a new innocent beginning here. You're seen as perfect, or there's a perfect plan in place. They're not absent. They're here now, generating this exit plan. There is an end to this conflict with this teacher who found it funny to fight with you. It was really funny. And now they're going to have to pick up the pieces. They're going to have to pick up the pieces. They're going to have to try to find out what love is. They're hoping that this King of Wands is hoping that they'll be able to overcome this challenge as a being of service and mend the connection here. They got to face it. And they're going to try to make another promise. The Empress is here with an understanding of what this witch has been doing. And there's gossip here. Adrift. They weren't willing to settle down or be responsible. They're very flighty, and now they're drowning, going under. They're going under. People are gossiping. You have an understanding of what this witch was doing. People are gossiping. They were not willing to settle down or be responsible, and now they're drowning under the weight of whatever it is they got going on. Distant. It could be that you're distant from them, you're physically distant, or that their games, they are being played from a distance. They're playing at love. They're playing with you. They got caught up in a whirlwind. They had a blind spot in the dark side. Now they want forgiveness for making your life hard. They're having anxiety because everything is in ruins. And they're struggling and they're grieving. Getting burned. They're getting burned and you're leaving. Getting burned and you're leaving. All I know is I hope I get to leave, and I hope I never, ever, 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 ever have to see these people again. I don't ever want to see these people again. I'm thinking macro. I'm thinking the big picture, you know, the big collective picture. This game that has been being played with people's lives. I really hope that I never have to get involved with them. Because here it says they're trying to make a promise. They want to do better. They want to be a being of service. And I'm like, oh my God. You know, and that's what one of the messages was quite a while ago, is that the people have to be tested. And it's like, well, I don't want to have any freaking part of these people's test. I don't want to have any part of it. I don't care if they pass. I don't care if they fail. I don't care if they skip out and cease to be. I just don't care at all. We got change in the reverse. They weren't able to change anything. You're not alone. It won't be like this forever. Nobody can change that. It's not going to be, you're not going to be alone forever. Nobody can change that. Nothing will change that. Which is, you know, I mean, it's time for love. It's time for love. I guess, you know, you've been through the ringer enough. Now you're being granted the opportunity to have love, I guess. So somebody's in a painful ending by somebody in a limelight position who was able to preserve themselves. There's unfinished business here. There's a long road to go for these egotistical people who were so brutal here with their fighting. They're in fear. Because the star has rejuvenated. And the star has rejuvenated. And they're in a Ten of Swords painful ending that they don't think they're going to survive. They're having a disagreement. They think you should understand how they feel because their needs aren't going to be met, and they're having emotional problems around that. They're in fear over the long road that they're going to have to walk. I remember, you know, I mean, some of you came back at this particular time to raise the vibration and to allow everybody the opportunity to break free from the mental hold that this scenario has had on them. And not everybody made it, you know. Some people got stuck in the rabbit hole that didn't deserve it. We got acceptance. They have to accept the things that they cannot change. Their needs aren't going to be met. There's a soul searching going on in the home or in the temple. You might be there's a light on. You've got your light on in your temple. Because your light is on in your temple, you were able to escape a rocky road and get forgiveness. You kept your light on. So you're entering into this strength of two together union where there's no conflict. You love yourself. And the truth is that you simply don't feel fulfilled. And you're waiting for true happiness. And it looks like it might be here. The destiny is turning. There's a turning point here in the destiny with the Wheel of Fortune. There's a status of privilege for those who self-care, for those who know how to take care of themselves. Those prideful people are having anxiety. They're in a Nine of Swords energy. They're guilty of causing adversity, and there's a rabbit hole here. So they may be in a rabbit hole. They may have fell down in a rabbit hole, or they're guilty for putting you in a rabbit hole. They're going in the rabbit hole. You got new beginnings here, innocent new beginnings. You're seen as perfect by somebody who is here now, planning an exit plan. You're an abundant, limitless being who can manifest whatever you desire in the physical reality. There's an ending of the conflict with this teacher who's reminiscing about the inside jokes of making you pick up the pieces constantly. And now we've got health here. Health here. They could be concerned about their health. Their health might be falling apart. Their health might be falling apart. They're hoping that they can overcome these challenges by being of service and mend the connection. They need to face the fact that something isn't right. They have to face it. Something isn't right with their purpose. The Empress is here with a full understanding about this witch. And there's gossip. Everybody's gossiping about it. They weren't willing to settle down or be responsible. And now they're going under. They're drowning. They feel like they're drowning under all this gossip. And there's Judgment here. Judgment. Denial. Denial. They're in denial about this judgment. Your honesty, your truth, caused them a failure. You being true to yourself, your honesty, your self-love, your self-care, your ability to self-preserve, you're true to self, you're very honest, you're in this limelight position. Patience, everything happens in divine order, and you're a being of peace who looks at the lighter side of life. And there are those who are in regret about their envy of you. They're worried because you're in a relationship that serves the higher good. And they have to surrender their need to control you. You have your freedom. So many of you have suffered extensively at the hands of these ones who wanted to cause you adversity. Like I said, many people and children didn't make it, you know. They suffered quite extensively. So the people must be tested, and apparently there's a time and a place, you know, where people have to come and raise the vibration, because these ones who have promised to be of service go so low that some giant has to step in. Many giants have to step in and raise the vibration so that they can pull everybody up and out of this. And then, of course, they call judgment. And it's just, they just, I don't know. They just seem to get better and better, Perspective. It's all in what you see, all in your perspective. It's all in your perspective. Somebody's calling judgment. It's time for love. You're in a soul tie. You're always connected. Even though it feels like you're alone, nothing will change that. Gift, yelling, plans. Empathy. I will provide emotional support and always try to understand you. So whoever it is that you're attached to tries to understand you, and that's in the future. Somebody's under judgment. It's a self-preservation. In the limelight, here you are. With unfinished business, there's a long road for these ones, and they're in fear about it. Great news. Great news. You were able to preserve yourself. You're in the limelight. You've been rejuvenated. You're the star. There's a judgment here that these ones are in fear about. They won't survive it. They wish you understood how they feel. They're in disagreement. Their needs aren't going to be met. They have to accept the things that they cannot change. Future. So, I imagine in your needs weren't met, and in the previous cycle, whoever's needs they were messing around with and laughing about as they suffered. You were able to escape a rocky road because you were able to keep the light on in your house. Baby, what are you doing? You all right? Goodbye. Escape. Goodbye. You escaped a rocky, rough road. You've got forgiveness here, and it's time to part ways. You're leaving. You got the Lovers here. It's an end to conflict. You were able to love yourself and heal yourself through that love. Star. You've not had satisfactory relationships. Could be that you haven't been fulfilled in this life. You had to love yourself because everybody you came into contact with was an empty vessel, incapable of it. It's been a very negative experience. love. Love. So self-love, love. The truth is that you simply didn't feel fulfilled. And then you've got small favor. I'm hoping you can help me with something small. Self-care, privilege, destiny. There could be somebody here wanting to ask you this empty vessel, or so there may be an empty vessel here that's afraid that they're not going to survive. So they're hoping that your love will offer them a small favor. They're guilty of bringing you adversity, stuffing you in a rabbit hole. They're a prideful person that's in anxiety and a nightmare because now they have to go through it. They can't trick you. They can't trick their way out of it. You got this new beginning. You're seen as perfection. You're an abundant, limitless being who can manifest whatever you desire in this physical world by somebody who is not absent, and they are creating an exit plan. They're making an exit plan. Somebody's curious about unsolicited advice. So somebody's here now. They're creating an exit plan. They're curious about unsolicited advice. You've got the Five of Wands reversed. So there's an end to the conflict with a teacher who is reminiscing about how fun it was to hurt you. Their health may be falling apart, and they see something in you that they admire and would like to learn from you. King of Wands is hoping that they can overcome this challenge and be a person of service, mending the connection. They have to face it. Purpose, apology. They're hoping that an apology will do. The Empress is here with a full understanding of what this witch is doing, has done, and there's gossip about it. They were unwilling to be responsible or settle down. They're drowning now because everything's falling apart. They're under judgment. You got judgment on the outgoing energy, and you got judgment in the central energy. There's judgment here. Friendly and health. Somebody's under judgment, and then you've got health and friendly. Somebody's approaching with nothing but kindness, and I'm going to be part of your health and wellness journey. Career. Could be that you have a new career of guiding people. You might be a friendly guide on how to help people who are in situations that are not savory. Could be a new career. Somebody's having bad news. They're feeling negative about it. They're envious and they want to vent. They are venting. They could be yelling and having a whole bunch of negative energy. And And they're being honest about themselves. They need money. They need financial assistance. And you were the gift. This tribe. You were this tribe's secret support. Now they're uncertain and they're yelling at each other. There could be a lot of fighting. They're hoping that they can get a date with you, that they can change your perspective and be welcomed after what they did to you in the past. They're obligated to seek revenge on you. So they're going to come in as an imposter, a greedy imposter, trying to sabotage you. Because they're desperate and they're collaborating with unfriendly folks. And they want to reconnect. They want to check in, they want to reconnect, and they want to gaslight you. They want to deliberately manipulate your perception of reality. That's their plan. They're like, hey, do it. You know, give me that favor. I'm sorry for causing you chaos. Let me do it again. And you're like, I'm not interested. Because you know, through the grapevine, they're bragging about it. This is entertainment. This is what they do for entertainment. And you know that this is what they do for entertainment. And you're like, it's sad. It's just sad. It's sad. They can't trick you. All right. Well, I hope that this clarifies something that you already intuitively knew. And I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.